Yeah, I think so. Certainly we made some changes off of the game on Saturday. I think the freshmen, while they were overwhelmed a little bit, I think, by the scope of the game come Saturday, and even though they're very athletic and probably good prospects down the road, I think, we better settle down, and we're going to go with a little more experience this week. We're playing the #1 pass offense in the conference, so we've made blows the last couple of weeks back there that I don't think we can afford anymore. So, hopefully we can get it settled down, but until they step up or someone steps up and grabs the job and takes a hold of it, we'll keep working until we find the right combination. Yeah, well, it came in at corner, and that's what he was recruited to be. But with our problems at safety last year, we had to play him at safety because of his athletic ability. As we talked through it last week, we still had some situational things that we had to take care of, and thought that now that Clem Johnson was healthy and back, and Brandon Bishop was playing well, that we could afford to move him outside to see if he could help us there. And then certainly he made he played better at the boundary corner position than he did at safety for us. Well, as we talked about from the start, that was another one of those situations that was going to be back and forth, and he made a couple plays there at the end of the Pittsburgh game, which we talked about a week ago. He has natural recognition skills in there. I think he plays, and he's starting to play a lot faster because he's starting to play a little more comfortable. In our terminology, he plays downhill and attacks the line of scrimmage well. So, it's going to give him the opportunity to start a football game and see how he does. Well, I think our defensive line did well. We did well against the rush, but Wake Forest came out and called 55 passes out of any play. So, I mean, it wasn't like they lined up and tried to run the ball. So, we're happy with what we did, but, we still lost the football game, so it is what it is. Well, I certainly think, the 3 pre-snap penalties in the first half were particularly bad penalties. One was a substitution, and when you run in the huddle, we signal what the format, the personnel group is. You're supposed to call it out in the huddle. No one called it out in the huddle. We got called 12 guys on the field. That should never happen. And then the same thing with the 2 lineup formations with wide receivers not being on the line of scrimmage. Both of them were just, that's just a matter of concentration. Some of those things, we don't want the personal fouls. Certainly, that's a loss of temper, and you just can't do that. Or a loss of the celebration penalty. Those are bad penalties because those are selfish things. The other things called in the heart of the game, holding's going to happen. Other things happen. Defensive pass interference. It wasn't called there, but those are all judgment penalties by officials. It's the pre-snap things that really bother you, and the personal fouls. It bothered me. The kickoff coverage has been, a point of contention here the last 2 weeks. That's another situation that we're going to look at different personnel probably, and earlier in the year we had more starters on that team and tried to take them off and give backups a chance to cover, and worked for a couple of those weeks against the 1AA teams, but certainly didn't work against Pittsburgh and Wake Forest. So we got to go back to more guys playing more snaps on that. And then the punt, we just have to punt the ball better, and we didn't cover well on Saturday twice. We've been into one weekend, but certainly the home teams all won last weekend. That was a common denominator, I think, in our division. So everybody's got a loss, I believe, right? No, Maryland's 1-0.
Yeah.
They've only played 1 game, so it might be one of those years that 5 and 3 might find a way into the championship game, like it did for everybody last year. No, I think the thing is he's got to step up in the pocket a little more. I mean, there's been holes up inside, and he's been going out, back, and around. Now, he's able to do that, or he was able to do it at Pittsburgh, and he was able to do it at Wake Forest. He wasn't able to do it at South Carolina. So, you know, you have to do it right all the time. You know, it just can't be based on who you're playing and what you're seeing. So, you know, those are some of the things that we have to work with him on. And, you know, he's still a young kid. He's still, you know, you look at 40-plus starts for Riley Skinner to about, 12 or 15 for Russell. There's a big disparity in maturity level there. There's one thing I forgot to mention at the start. It took me off guard with this birthday cake. But after watching I mean, I knew this was coming, but Mark Herzlich, the uplifting athletes thing, and Ewing sarcoma. One of the things we're going to do Saturday is for people to contribute to the Ewing Sarcoma Fund at the stadium here. The team has already donated over $2,000. They've given up their meal monies for a couple weekends or a weekend or whatever that we give them per diem to go towards the foundation, uplifting athletes. Now, I guess it's a collegiate thing that people are starting on their campuses. You know, certainly our charity here is the K-Yale spring football game. But, you know, in honor of Mark and all the kids, most of them saw Sports Center last week. I guess he was featured at Boston College. So we're going to see if everybody here at the game Saturday can do something for he and his foundation. So
you'll have people with hats at the door or whatever asking for donations?
I haven't specifically down yet, but I mean, we just started talking, and you know, I talked with Mark last Friday, just so I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, he's a leader on the football team. He always has been, and you know, surprising last year, you know, he has a tremendous amount of respect from the kids in the football team because, I mean, he's really a tough kid, and he hits as hard as anybody, and he's one of those guys that. Reminds me of a guy, of course, I don't know if you ever go to Naval Academy, but he's a Navy kind of football player. You know, one of those guys that shows up, that loves to play the game, doesn't care, you know, if he's got a helmet or not, he's going to go out and play the game. And you know, that's the kind of players that we need. I want a victory. I lost last year on my birthday.
You see, we put the knife on over here where you can't reach it.
Yeah, well, that's such as that. Just want to wake up tomorrow.
Early, right?
Yeah, early.